Ever wondered how vital web performance is in the realm of UI development? It's more than just a tiny cog in the complex machine that is a digital interface. Think of it this way. A high-performance sports car is practically useless if the engine isn't up to the mark. Similarly, the performance of a website is the element that keeps users engaged and enhances the overall user experience. No matter how efficient the design or how alluring the content, a website that takes ages to load will frustrate users and force them to abandon ship. Moreover, a slow website doesn't just test the user's patience, it brings down the overall user satisfaction and reduces the chances of a repeat visit. The impact doesn't end there. It goes on to affect the site's search engine rankings negatively, hence reducing its visibility to potential users. This could result in a significant drop in traffic and a decrease in conversion rates. In the fiercely competitive digital space, staying ahead of the curve requires more than just an eye-catching design. It's all about ensuring seamless performance that keeps users coming back. So, with all this in mind, why wouldn't you want to optimize your website's performance? Today, we're going to delve into some effective methods of web performance optimization that can help UI developers supercharge their projects. First on the list is lazy loading. While the name might imply a certain level of lethargy or lack of effort, it does the exact opposite. This isn't about being or slothful. Rather, it's a strategic, highly calculated approach to loading elements on a web page. Think of it in terms of dining at a luxurious restaurant. Instead of being served all the dishes at once, overwhelming your senses and table space, you're served one dish at a time, each one when you're ready for it. The same principle applies to lazy loading. Instead of bombarding the user's device or browser with all the components of a web page simultaneously, lazy loading serves them course by course. It means loading only the necessary components or the visible portions of a web page as and when they are needed or called upon. This is a critical feature, especially in today's digital era where web pages are loaded with intensive resources that are not all essential at the first instance. This technique is smart, efficient, and it's a clever way to save the resources of both the server and the user's device. It reduces the load on the server, saves bandwidth, and makes the browsing experience smoother. By reducing the amount of unnecessary data loaded, it significantly speeds up initial page loads. This in turn gives users a faster, more streamlined, and more enjoyable experience, free from unnecessary waits and interruptions. It's a clever way to save resources and speed up initial page loads, giving users a faster, more streamlined experience. Next up, code splitting. This particular concept can be likened to the process of dismantling a complex puzzle, one that appears initially overwhelming but becomes much more manageable when you break it down into smaller, individual pieces. It's an analogy that beautifully illustrates the core principle of code splitting. It's about taking something complex, in this case a block of code, and then dividing it into more manageable components. This process is not an arbitrary one. It's critically essential for efficient code management. By splitting the code into smaller chunks, what you're essentially is creating a system of optimization. Now, instead of loading an entire block of code at once, you're only loading the chunks that are absolutely necessary at any given point in time. This method proves to be extremely effective in reducing the initial load time. It's almost like you're not having to put together the entire puzzle all at once. Instead, you're only focusing on the pieces that are immediately relevant. This approach won't just make your code more efficient, but it will also make it significantly easier to troubleshoot and maintain. The beauty of code splitting lies in its simplicity and efficacy. It's a strategic approach to coding that not only improves the performance of the code, but also enhances the overall user experience. By splitting the code into smaller chunks, you can ensure that only the necessary code is loaded at any given time, significantly reducing the initial load time. Then we have Magnification and Compression. This is a significant aspect of web performance optimization, similar to packing for a journey with only a restricted amount of luggage space. The concept is straightforward, effective. It is about being efficient, creating space where there seems to be none. You want the lightest luggage for the journey. In this scenario, your luggage is your code. The strategy here involves eliminating any superfluous characters in your code. These could be comments, white spaces, and other optional syntax elements. It's like stripping down your luggage to bare essentials, discarding anything that doesn't serve a purpose, like removing the extra pair of shoes you know you won't wear. the bulky jacket that takes up too much space, or the third book you won't have the time to read. Then comes the second half of the equation, compression. Here, we employ techniques to condense the size of your code even further, much like vacuum sealing your clothes into airtight bags. The aim is to condense, to compress, to pack everything into the smallest possible size without losing the functionality or structure. Why is this crucial, you might ask? The answer lies in the final outcome. This meticulous process dramatically reduces the amount of data that needs to be transferred when a user accesses a web page. It's like choosing the fastest, most direct flight to your destination. You're cutting down on unnecessary layovers, and this efficiency speeds up the loading process, improving user experience. This reduces the amount of data that needs to be transferred, thereby speeding up the loading process. Caching strategies come up next. To illustrate this, allow me to paint a picture for you. Picture yourself in your favorite bustling coffee shop during the morning rush hour. All around you, people are in a hurry, impatiently waiting in line to get their caffeine fix. Now imagine, in the midst of all this chaos, you're able to waltz right past everyone, straight to the counter, and grab your favorite drink, all served up and steaming hot, ready to go. That's the magic of caching. It's a technology that enables your website to offer the same kind of cut-the-line convenience to its visitors. Caching works by storing a snapshot, a version of your website, on the user's device. This snapshot acts as a mirror, reflecting back the website's content whenever the user revisits, bypassing the need for the website server to deliver the content each time. Think of this as a barista who remembers your order by heart. The next time you visit, they don't need to ask. They simply start preparing your order as soon as they see you. Caching mimics process digitally. By storing a version of your website locally on the user's device, it eliminates the waiting time for the website to load. This technology is not about making your website faster in a traditional sense, but rather it's about creating an illusion of instant loading. It's not actually speeding up the process, bridging the gap between user and content in such a way that it feels instantaneous to the user. So the next time a user visits your website, it loads up in a flash. This is the essence of caching strategies. The convenience provides to users is similar to skipping the line at your favorite coffee shop. It's about delivering the content they need exactly when they need it, without any delay. Now let's talk about optimizing images. It is an essential part of web development and design. The concept may seem technical, but it's really just about efficiency. When we mention high-resolution images, we refer to images with a large amount of detail. While these images are beautiful to look at and add quality to your site, they often come with a heavy price. These high-resolution images usually have large file sizes. This can be a problem when you're trying to load a website. The larger the file size, the longer it will take for the website to load. This can be quite frustrating for a user, particularly in this day and age when we're used to quick, seamless browsing experiences. Slow load times can also negatively impact your website's SEO rankings. Search engines like Google penalize slow websites, pushing them lower down in search results. So how do we counteract this? How do we enjoy the benefits of high-resolution images without the drawbacks? This is where optimizing images comes in. By minimizing the size of these images without sacrificing their quality, you not only make the site load faster, but also improve the overall user experience. It's a win-win situation for both you and your site visitors. You maintain the aesthetic appeal of your site while ensuring a seamless user experience. By optimizing these images, reducing their size without compromising on quality, you can ensure faster load times. Next, we have asynchronous loading for non-essential scripts. This is like having a multitasking wizard at your disposal. It allows non-essential scripts to load in the background while the rest of your page loads up front, ensuring that users can start interacting with your site as quickly as possible. Then there's content delivery networks, or CDNs. These are like your local grocery stores spread out across the city. CDNs store copies of your website on servers around the world, so users can access your site from the nearest location, ensuring faster load times. Finally, monitoring and continuous improvement. This is the part where you play detective, constantly monitoring your site's performance and making necessary adjustments to ensure optimal speed and efficiency. So to sum up, optimizing web performance in UI development is not just a technical necessity, but a user experience imperative. In an era where users demand speed and seamless interactions, these strategies can help developers create web applications that not only meet but exceed user expectations. Remember, in the race for digital excellence, web performance optimization is your turbo booster.